Hi, I'm Michelle and I'm a pregnancy and postpartum corrective exercise specialist. This workout is specifically for those who have diastasis recti, which is the separation of the abdominal wall, or those that would like to regain control of their pelvic floor and their deep core muscles. This gentle workout should work alongside your physician's guidance. However, I always suggest that you seek medical advice before you start exercise. Follow along at your own pace and stop when you feel you need to. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my workouts. Let's do this together. So firstly, what is a diastasis? The diastasis is the two sides of the abdominal wall that connect in the middle on a line of fascia called the linea alba. You might know that as that line that ran down your belly during pregnancy and then faded shortly after. So all of that is connecting our abdominal muscles in the middle, and a diastasis is actually a thinning of that linea alba, the line. Now, some natural stretching is completely normal, especially in the later stages of pregnancy. You might have a diastasis afterwards, you might not. Always best to get medical advice to find out first. You can make your diastasis worse if you don't know that you have one and you do wrong movement patterns and put pressure on that core area. There are things that you can do to naturally heal your diastasis, but I would also just seek that medical advice before you do anything further. So some of the things that can help: we can fix our breathing, we can work on our pelvic floor doing our Kegels, we can look at our posture, we can start doing core exercises, and yeah, just do little by little, and just remember, it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a long healing process, but just be patient with your body and think to yourself what it's been through during that pregnancy. So first off, we're going to start with our breath. I've got a little ball here so I can sort of try to help you envisage your rib cage. So imagine your rib cage opening and closing as you inhale and exhale. You do have a back to your rib cage, sides and front. You don't just want that front expansion. You want to feel the breath. So you're going to take an inhale through your nose, expand the entire rib cage, and then exhale and draw everything in. Now, you want to try and draw the ribs down. You don't want to be crunching forward or ab gripping. You just want to draw them down. You want to feel like you're pulling them into the center here. And the bones, your two hip bones, you've got muscles between there. They're your deep transverse muscles. And what you want to do is you want to think about tightening them and bringing them together on the exhale. So inhale through the nose, feel the breath into the rib cages, sides, back, front. As we exhale, we're going to draw ribs down, drawing those muscles into the center here. And again, inhale, expand, 360 breath here. Exhale, bringing everything in, let the air come out of the ribs. Knit those muscles together between the two hip bones and release. Okay, so that's something to practice. If you find that you can't get your breath into your back and sides, you could lay on your back and do some breathing on your back, and perhaps put a towel under your lumbar spine so that you feel when you take that in breath, that connection between the towel and your back. If you can't do it into your sides, you might even want to sit onto your side like this, and then put your hands here, and then inhale through your nose, feeling that breath go to a specific place, and then exhale. Okay, so now we're going to incorporate that breathing into our Kegels, our pelvic floor contractions. So I'm going to sit on a yoga block for this. If you have a pillow or something like that, amazing, I would do that, because you can help get a better connection on the relaxing part of it. So there are 3 stages to your pelvic floor recruitment here. So you've got your basement, you've got your ground floor, and you've got your first floor. So basement is always your resting place with no tension. You then want to squeeze it to the ground, lift to first, and then relax to basement. So 3 stages: squeeze, lift, relax, okay? Not trying to hang around the ground floor. So let's do it with our breath as well. So when you inhale, you're releasing that pelvic floor. Your pelvic floor is at the basement. I want the breath to come and reach that pelvic floor. Practice, practice, practice. Then as you exhale, you're going to be squeezing to the ground and lifting to the first. And then once again, inhale, releasing that pelvic floor back to basement. Are you ready? So let's inhale through our nose. Pelvic floor is released. Exhale, lift to the first floor. Back down to basement. Remember to squeeze and lift and down again. Squeeze the ground, lift to first and down again. Last one and down. Good. Okay, so there's two ways you can work your pelvic floor. You can do fast twitch or you can do more endurance. So first of all, we're going to do the fast twitch, which means we're going to take it to the first floor, release it to the basement quite quickly. We're going to do 10 reps. Okay, ready? Inhale, exhale, lift and lower, lift and lower. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and 10, release. Okay, we're going to do 2 more rounds. Just make sure that you are coming back to that basement. Okay, relax everything. Inhale, exhale, draw the abdominal muscles together in the center and lift and squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, last one, and release. Back to basement. Don't hold any tone in that pelvic floor. You want to release it. If you feel like you are holding tension in your pelvic floor, it might be that you have an overactive pelvic floor. So once again, physician, go and see someone with medically cleared to take a look at it in more detail. Okay, last fast twitch. Ready? Inhale, exhale, drawing the muscles together. Up we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Release. Okay, now we're going to go for endurance. We're going to hold it for a count of 10. So inhale, exhale, lift all the way to the first, so a squeeze and a lift, holding it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. Back to basement. When you're doing this, just think about your posture as well. So roll the shoulder blades back and down. Try not to have forward head posture. Try not to be tilting that pelvis. Try and keep neutral. So inhale, exhale, squeeze and lift. Hold it. Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and release. You're going to do one more. Ready? Inhale. Let that breath come down to meet the basement. And exhale, squeeze and lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And completely release. Good. Okay, now we're going to move on to something called 90-90 breathing. So we're going to be laying on our back, and I want you to place your feet against the wall. And I want you to lay there with a neutral pelvis, and then perhaps you might need to tilt it up slightly so that the lumbar curve is pushed into the mat, okay? So put my ball to one side. I've got my yoga block because I want to pop my head on that. So come over to a wall, place something there, go onto your side to get down because you don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on your abdominals. You're going to come here and you're going to find that 90-degree angle on the legs. Now, I naturally have a bit of a lumbar curve, so I'm going to tilt my pelvis upwards slightly. There now is no gap underneath my lower back. I'm going to push my feet into the wall and I'm going to draw my heels down slightly. And from there you will feel hamstring engagement. You're going to do the same breath as you did, the 360 breath. Feel the back pushing into the floor, expanding in the sides and in the front. Ready? So inhale through the nose. Exhale, pelvic floor, knitting together the muscles between the two hip bones. Are you at first floor? Have you lifted? If you feel in control, exhale again and lift your head. Hold it there, back into the mat, the muscles between the two hip bones, knit them together, pelvic floor on and release. If you need to reset your hips, tilt them up slightly to get rid of that curve. Ready? Inhale, exhale, lift head as you exhale this time. Muscles knitting together. It's very small. You will barely feel anything happening. You're just being mindful of what's going on there. A little bit of tension, pelvic floor up to the first, and then release the head again. If you don't feel comfortable doing the head, don't do it. Just do the breath, draw the feet down and into the wall. Because when you are pregnant, all muscles sort of start compensating for each other and some switch off. So we want to engage and reactivate the hamstrings. So inhale, push into the wall, draw down, hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, and down. You're going to do 2 more for me. Inhale, exhale, feet in, draw down. Good. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower. Good. Okay, place the feet down and then roll yourself to one side. Now I'm going to come into leg lowering. So you can use your yoga block or your pillow or whatever you're using to pop under your head to make yourself feel more comfortable. Once again, coming down to the floor on your side and going back here. So now we're going to put our feet just a little bit near, quite close to our fingers, not touching, but just quite close. Now, let's adjust our pelvis here. So I've got that arch, so I'm going to be tilting my pelvis upwards. Now I want to make sure that my hips stay on the mat throughout. You're going to be doing the breath. You're also going to be trying to draw those ribs down because we might be stuck in a flare. So as we exhale, you're going to draw the ribs down, knit those muscles together in the abdominals down between the two hip bones, and the pelvic floor is on. Now, you can carry on breathing. You don't have to hold your breath, but you do need to hold that brace position. As you do this, I want you to keep that right hip into the floor and lower that left leg off to the side. If you feel like you're coming off like this, then don't go so low. Just go to the point where you can keep control. So let's do this together. Ready? So inhale, exhale, engage, lowering left leg, right leg is so staying still. There is no hip coming off the floor, and bring it back in. Go again on the same leg. Inhale, exhale, lower. Really small. Be aware. Put your hands on your tummy if you feel like it helps you get better connection. Inhale, exhale, and bring it back in. All the while you are firing those muscles while that leg is moving. Draw the rib flare down and release. Release the pelvic floor. Release the back. We're going to do the other side now. So inhale through the nose. Back into the mat. Start rolling that right leg to the side. This is not coming or moving in the slightest. I am solid in my trunk area, my pelvis. Inhale. Exhale. Slow and steady, that's what counts here. And up. Again, inhale. Exhale. Are you engaging your pelvic floor all the way to the first floor? Rib flare down. Hips into the mat. Keep going. You're going to give me one more rep. And bring it back up and stop. Release everything, let go of the tension in the pelvic floor. We're now going to go to leg slides. So I really would recommend that you start small. As you progress, you can start lifting the legs, so you're coming into sort of a dead bug, but you mustn't be arching. It always must be in control, pushing back into mat. You may even need to tilt that pelvis slightly. But today, we're going to keep one foot on the mat at all times. We're literally just sliding one leg out. You may just come to here and back in. You might feel that you can slide your leg a lot lower. So I'll leave that to you to make that decision. But you need to not be arching and coming away. The pelvis should be embedded into that mat and the breath, the ribs down. Are you ready? So inhale, exhale, knitting muscles, pelvic floor switched onto the first floor. Slide that leg out to as long as you can manage and draw it back in. Keeping that abdominal firing, keep going with those reps. You can keep resetting on the breath or keep tension and move that leg. Remember, nice and slow. You're going to give me 5 more reps. You're not swaying from side to side. You've got 2 more. You might want to play around with this one and try and get those moves even slower as you get more and more able to do it. And back in. Okay, release. Relax the pelvic floor, relax the abdominals. Everything's coming to a relaxed point. Okay, we've got to do the other side. So 10 reps. So inhale, exhale. Ease that back into the mat. Lift the leg slightly, slide it out. 1. Bring it back in very slowly. 2. Knit the muscles here together. 3. 4. Don't rush. 5. Ribs down. Drawing the ribs down, not gripping. 6. 7. If it gets too much, you can always stop. 8. You've got 1 more. Bring it back in, release everything, and there you go. Okay, so now we're going to just learn to release our pelvic floor. So if it's comfortable for you, put your feet together and just let your knees come to the sides. Just relax by taking a nice inhale and an exhale. I want no pelvic floor tension at all, just relax. Good. I'm going to give you 2 more breaths. Last one. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to roll to one side to come up. Always do that, even especially if you're getting out of your bed in the morning, do a side roll, always much safer if you do have any kind of separation. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you have a look on my platform, there's lots more for you to learn from me, and I hope you enjoyed it. So take care, ladies. Bye-bye.